Ian W. Thomson, Letters, December 30th, reminds us that many Scots retain a strong feeling of Britishness as a legacy of having experienced life in the UK at a time when awareness of the recent world wars was still very real. I know, as we were colleagues for a time, that Mr Thomson and I are of the same generation who grew up in the early post-war years when the political climates north and south of the border were not vastly different. The balance between the two main parties was similar on both sides of the border, and I probably regarded myself as Scottish culturally but British from an international perspective. Foreign travel was less readily available in those days and for many had only been experienced through military service. Cold War, Iron Curtain and Spanish Civil War were well understood terms to our generation but have progressively shifted from the news media to the history books of my children and grandchildren. The nostalgic Britishness of my generation has faded and is barely detectable among today's young working-age Scots, who are more likely to identify themselves as Europeans due to having been familiar with international travel from an early age. Scots of my generation need to accept that attempting to cling to a British identity for sentimental reasons is a disservice to the young generation who, regardless of the unwelcome Brexit imposed on us by our southern neighbours, clearly regard their nationality as Scottish and see their future as part of a modern, open and independent European nation. Willie MacLean, Mulgai. Tim Ryan, Letters, December 30th, takes time out from his doubtless hectic life in southwest London to keep us right on the meaning of independence, and informing readers that the word carries unwarranted emotional baggage for us here in Scotland. On a quick check of the dictionary, how ironic that the first definition of the word I come across is not influenced or controlled by others in matters of opinion. And some other definitions, independence is true freedom to make laws or decisions without being governed or controlled by another country. Independence is a condition of a person, nation, country, or state in which its residents and population, or some portion thereof, exercise self-government, and usually sovereignty, over the territory. Regarding Mr Ryan's assertion that Scotland wasn't militarily conquered by a foreign power and gave up its independence in 1707 by a mutual agreement, he appears totally unaware that there are ways and means for a foreign power to conquer a nation other than by the sword. I respectfully refer him to Robert Burns' account of the most infamous day in Scotland's history. What force or guile could not subdue, through many warlike ages, is wrought now by a coward few, for hireling traitors' wages. The English steel. We could dister for more on this story, visit the news article link.